section of the independent comic book underground known as comicsgate, section where the lolcows and the retards graze, known as the Rippaverse. Yeah, here they're going to be shutting down deviant art. Maybe we'll see some wandering deviant art Ronin wash up and become comic skaters or Rippaversers. We'll see. Yeah, the thing I've noticed about Rippaverse is, well, you see when Comicsgate first kind of popped up, like slowly but surely other channels started popping up and doing, copying certain blueprints. Like there's a thing called the Oz Show, where it was like some Aussie would get on there, he'd get all stoned, and he'd let a bunch of yahoos on. And that was probably when CG was at its peak during the time of the Oz Show, when there was most camaraderie going on. Then the Oz Show had its various offshoots and cloned shows, like the Lord Finatra Show and all of those other shows. Dark Gift, well, Dark Gift kind of distinguished himself in that he would do karaoke streams or whatever. But the bottom line is a little community of streamers popped up where people started doing channels and started doing content and shit, shit like that. I mean, a lot of it was real bad and cringe, but content nonetheless. Now we're starting to see that with Rippaverse, like his whole little like shitty community of terrible YouTube videos are starting to come up, and the difference is like with comic skaters, some of them were creators actually making shit. As far as I know, none of these Rippaverse people are actually creating anything. Like what they're trying to do is, well, they always start that, oh, subscribe to my channel, hit the like and subscribe, blah blah blah. Anytime anybody starts doing that shit, my fucking red flags start going off. And what I'm thinking is, you see, these people, they worship money. They're all about money, this, money, that. I think young Rippa, he's spawned a bunch of copycat grifters, like real shitty versions of himself, but they're like these low-T white guys and shit. I mean, I've seen one of these guys. I mean, this guy's such a beta male. He looks like he'd let Nick Rekieta fuck his wife. And this is how much of a beta male this guy is. But this is the young Rippa fan base that's starting to crop up all over the place, and they have absolutely no talent. They bring nothing to the table. They talk about just bullshit, and they're obsessed with the Rippaverse, and they think that they're going to get clout. I think that they think they're going to get monetized, and they're all about the money and shit. And it's just cringe as fuck, is what it is. And a lot of these people, they don't know shit about comics. They don't follow comics. They follow young Rippa, and they're fans of young Rippa because of his politics, because he's a libertarian or whatever. And these people are libertarians and all that. Even though young Rippa, he's a fucking fake libertarian. Only whenever it suits him. Like he's gone on the record as saying he's against IP law, or whatever. He doesn't believe in it. Yeah. But when it comes to his IP, though, oh, he's willing to fight for that. Strike Riley, his Clippaverse. But karma's a bitch, as we see. The International School of Ministry is suing his ass. He's going to have to change the name, too. He's going to have to change the name. I can't see the church capitulating and allowing that shit to happen. Not after seeing how toxic his brand is, his fucking fans and shit like that. Would you want Eric July fans associated with your brand? Think about that for a second. Fuck no. Jesus Christ. Lord of mercy. Eric July fans, yikes. Yeah. Getting sued by the fucking International School of Ministry over the fucking name. He's going to have to change it too, like I said. I really can't see the church capitulating on this. Now, I've said this before. When life throws you lemons, you make lemonade. Now, Eric July doesn't realize it, but he has actually been given a blessing in disguise with this whole thing. Now, when it eventually happens and he's ordered to stand down and cease all printing and production of anything Isom related, that means he's going to have to destroy all of the copies of the comic book, which means it's going to make the comic book actually rise in value. So that's one silver lining. And another silver lining is, I mean, really, it's kind of a stupid, shitty name. It was never really used in the comic. He can rebrand is what he can do. He's been given a fucking blessing in disguise. He doesn't understand it or realize it, though, because he's too stupid. I mean, hell, if he was clever enough, he could actually write it into the comic. Since Avery was retired for so long, like what happened was, let's just call them the International School of Minstrels. They're like a music school that has music schools all around the globe. They're international. Anyway, they end up trademarking the name Isom. So what happens is Avery gets a cease and desist in the fucking mail, says he can't use the name anymore. So what happens is Avery decides to completely rebrand, call himself something different, but at the same time he goes back to the tailor and he gets himself a new suit. And this is where it really comes in. You change the fucking name of your superhero and you give him a better suit. That's what you do. He's been given a blessing in disguise. But he's too stupid. He's too fucking stupid. He's not going to take the lemons and turn it into lemonade. Yeah, you call him something cool. I don't know, fucking you could have some sort of a contest with your fans, whoever comes up with the best name, or I don't know. Or think of 4 good names, run a poll on Twitter or something, I don't know. You think of something. Call him Respect. That's what his name is, Respect. Respect. I mean, after all, that's what that encompasses in his entire persona, his entire character. Respect. Respect, man. No, just respect. And it's spelt wrong, obviously, because Eric July can't spell. Oh my God. That's what you call him. Respect. That's his new name. And give him a suit that's like, you get rid of that orange color. You make it more darker, more black. Maybe you actually give him a mask and some gloves. He pops back onto the scene. He goes to Darren's club, beats the fuck out of everybody. Beats the fuck out of Darren. But Darren doesn't know who it is. Who be you? Respect. Man, I don't know who that nigga is, but I best respect him. Respect. Yeah. I'd actually read that fucking comic. This black guy just going around beating the fuck out of people who don't respect him. Wearing a mask and shit. Yeah, that's the paradox of Isom as a character. This is why I would destroy Eric July if I ever debated him, because I have several silver bullet questions that will just completely just end him in front of his audience. And one of the silver bullet questions is, now it's obvious to everybody that's been reading this and watching, it's obvious to everybody that Isom has a secret identity. Nobody's supposed to know who this guy is. But at the same time, he's not wearing a mask. It's paradoxical. You can't have a secret identity and also not have a mask. But Eric July doesn't understand this or realize it because he's too stupid. It's like your high school buddy, Darren, like it didn't recognize you on TV fighting crime and shit. Like, hey, that's my buddy Avery Silman from high school. Well, it looks like he did make something of his life. He's the superhero known as Isom. Like, no, he's supposed to have a secret identity. Nobody's supposed to know who he is. This has been established. But at the same time, he doesn't wear a mask. It's paradoxical. It doesn't make sense. It's bad writing is what it is. You cannot have a secret identity and also not wear a mask. Because at some point, somebody is going to figure out who the fuck you are. So unless you're just so basic bitch that you look like everybody else and you're just like such a milquetoast superhero that you specialize in saving cats from trees or something, that no super villains are even going to want to bother you even know who the fuck you are, at some point somebody's going to figure out who you are. Yeah, I had thought in the back of my mind, this motherfucker is so egotistical, so full of himself, that he thinks this is going to be a major motion picture at some point. This is going to be a movie. Anybody knows superhero movies knows that movie companies would rather have the actor see their face or whatever because they're paying them a lot of the money or whatever. So they want the audience to see their face. So in order to just get around the whole him not having a mask and taking the mask off like Spider-Man and Iron Man and all that shit, let's just have him not have a mask at all. So when the movies eventually made, we ain't going to have to worry about writing that out. I almost guarantee you that's the whole reason why he doesn't have a mask, because he thought a movie was going to be made at some point. putting the cart before the horse. But in doing so, it's bad writing is what it is. I mean, you guys do understand that and see my point of view, right? You cannot have a secret identity and also not have a mask. Because at some point, somebody's going to figure out who the fuck you are. I mean, hell, look at certain facial recognition software we got nowadays, PIM eyes. Yeah, the bottom line is the International School of Ministry suing this motherfucker. It's a blessing in disguise because it gives him a chance to rebrand his fucking comic. And it also gives the comic that's currently created a chance to rise in value when it's eventually ordered to be destroyed. Because that's what's going to happen. I mean, I was kind of half-assed joking around, but all of the unsold copies of Isom may very well end up in that in the same landfill as the ET video game. Anybody remember that? The infamous ET video game? Sipping on gin and juice. Accentuate the positive and even negate the negative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between.